What is good, guys? Charles from Team COG coming at you guys here with my going second Crusadia list. So if you guys have been hopping on the live streams, which you might be, they're kind of started to be a little bit more frequent now. I don't really have a set schedule for it, but if you guys have been hopping onto the live streams, you guys will have been seeing, you know, I think the first live stream back, I ended up doing this Crusadia deck, which was something that I really wanted to do. It's something I've been kind of tinkering with. I feel like this deck is not as good going first, simply because its resilience has died down with the amount of hand traps that are being implemented into the game, such as, of course, Ash, Gamma. God, drew a blank space. My goodness. I've been like this all day, guys. I've been like barely able to speak English, but without continue on. So this is my going second, like kind of like my skeleton. It is definitely needed to be like tweaked a little bit more. I've been play testing and testing it with my members, which of course, if you guys want to become a member, please think about hitting that join button down below or going to the link down in the description and becoming a member today. It truly helps out the channel. You get to get awesome perks and rewards, and on top of that, you get to become part of a awesome family. And then if you guys also want to help support the channel, check out the mats also down in the description, the teamcogcompany.site down below. Get your Ordained by Flame, or if you're still OG Crusadia lover and you have not got your Breeze before Einsatz plant, go ahead and do that down below. But without further ado, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into this kind of like theoretical, or this deck profile, the list I've just been testing with. So we're just going to go ahead and jump on in. As you guys still saw there is a crawler, because this list right here is designed to go second, but also designed to go first. And also it's at the same time, it requires a lot of board reading. So in most cases, like a lot of Crusadia players I know, they'll go for a kill shot and not make it, and then they just get blown out the next turn, because a lot of the decks this format can like recur very well. So the theory that I went through and put into this was that you need to like really look over your board that you're facing and do the right calculations. I know math, which I'm awful at. Do the right calculations, and then you decide if you can OTK or not. If you can't OTK, then you just kind of gotta make a board, like break their board, but establish your own board, if that makes sense. And that's what we are trying to do here. So if we cannot OTK, you got to look at if your opponent has such huge monsters that you're not going to be able to OTK, you got to either break their board and then establish your own, and that is what we're doing with this list. And I'll go ahead and showcase real quick what I mean by that. So we're always playing Triple Maximus. Now this card is more important in this list than any other list. He is still my favorite Crusadia by artwork design. If you do not get access to this, you do not get to OTK. I cannot stress that enough. For all you OTK supremacists out there who thought this list, thought OTK was better than the going first, back when going first was extremely viable and very versatile, this card right here, if your opponent stopped you from getting to Maximus, you really cannot OTK. But this is not as prominent in this list because of the Codebreaker engine. The Codebreaker engine allows us to pivot into them, and when you do when you get to a certain point in the Codebreaker combo, you have enough for damage on field as is. But we'll showcase that probably another video coming this week. But 3 Maximus, I'm just going to kind of breeze through these. 3 Draco, 3 Arborea, 3 Reclusia, which is by far probably one of the better ones, since this is a going second list. You love summoning Reclusia into established boards and just forcing negations, forcing back row. It is awesome. 3 Leonis, and the 1 honorary World Crown. Something about Leonis that I will say, this deck, unlike other OTK strategies, has something that I've never seen. Like, we have everything from double battle damage to recursion to protection to spot removal. But like even Mathmex and their like OTK strategies, they can't do piercing. Cyber Dragons can't do piercing, but we can do piercing, which is crazy if you really think about it. And then Eldritch, those Eldritch traps that get set, or that summon in defense, it's like it's free real estate. And then we just do piercing with double battle damage. It's really crazy, guys. But that is it for the Crusadia lineup. You must, and I cannot stress enough, you must play as many Crusadias as you possibly can, because if you don't see a Crusadia name, you're not playing. You could also play Formed Skipper, but again, with Gamma floating around very prominent in the format, I really don't see the point of going Gamma effect and then you just getting Gamma and then your turn ends. However, Gamma is not Gamma, but Formed Skipper is definitely a good option to play. Now moving on to like the extenders, or like the gas of the this is the engine. This right here is going to be the gas. So still triple Paralytic Seed. Paralytic Seed is by far, in my opinion, one of the best extenders this deck has, by being able to establish a rank 4 or practically get 3 monsters. Like you link into Magius, this card right here lets you hard make Equimax, which can help you play around like certain powerful cards like Dragoons. Like if they don't negate this, you just hard make Equimax, and then you just inherently summon, so then you can just beat over a Dragoon, which is really good. But 3 Paralytic Seed. Now this right here is definitely something you could do differently. I'm still rocking the 3 familiars, or the 4 familiar package. These are just extra extenders that allow you to put up Disruption, allow you to bait out stuff, to gas through, save powerful card effects, but you could for sure play 3 hand traps of your choice. It's entirely up to you. I just chose no hand traps, straight gas. That was my thought process in this. Play more board breakers, etc. But this right here, you could definitely fit these into be hand traps, but these right here, kind of like, this right here is probably like what I'm testing a lot of, and this is just how useful are these in the going second strategy, I guess. But somebody had asked and commented on the live stream. I try to live stream at least once or twice a week. My schedule is, I'm a medical field worker, so I don't really get to make my own schedule. So you guys can help change that, of course, by supporting the channel. But anyway, you could definitely play any assortment of the familiars that you want. They all just special summon with Magius or Reclusius on the field. That's about it. Now, for the Kaijus. Double Gamma Seal, 1 Kamungus, and 1 Jizukiru. So this right here definitely should be different. These 2 should be the Wind Kaiju, because you want to beat Bird up, and you need to have the Wind Kaiju to Kaiju them. And yeah, that's about as simple as it gets right there. So definitely get the Wind Kaiju, but I'm not about to spend $10 for rare. And plus, you know, it's kind of nice to have all the Kaijus holo, so I bet we'll probably get the Wind Kaiju as a holo coming up here shortly, so do stay tuned for that if Konami watches these videos. But, yep, just 4 Kaijus. You play 4 because I believe 4 is the correct number. You could probably get away with maybe cutting Gigabyte or cutting, you know, this down and playing a 5th Kaiju. Wouldn't hurt, probably, but like I said, these are still testing ratios and testing numbers, but now finally for out, because the Kaijus are like high impact hand traps to say. The final brick of the main monster is Codebreaker 0 Day. So this card right here just allows you, when you have to pivot to your Codebreakers, this is what fuels that, and it's 1 card that you can play. It can be summoned from hand deck or grave, so that's also very important. That is just, even if you open it, it's like a pseudo brick because you can summon it off of from your hand. It's kind of like opening Despot with Hulk, but yeah, this card is so good. The engine that this provides for this deck is kind of crazy. It gives it more of a centric Link feel, or a Link-centric feel. I kind of mix those words up, but it lets you Link summon and like Link into very powerful like Link monsters like Virus Berserker, clears back row, and lets you just climb up into more powerful Link monsters of your choosing. If you guys have not checked out my member monthly, my man Flexi did a Firewall Crusadia build, which allows you to end on like Firewall plus like 2 other disruptions, which is cool. But I do believe he uses the Codebreaker package as well while doing that. Now we're moving on to the spells. As you guys can see, we are rocking a big chunk of monsters here because, yeah, we got to have a lot of monsters. We got to see our monsters in order to play. So for the Crusadia spells, 2 Crusadia Power and 1 Crusadia Revival. Crusadia Revival is in here because sometimes you can't get damage, so you need to attack everything. So that's what Crusadia Revival is in here for. It just allows you to search. This is searchable off of Regulix and allows you to activate. It gives your Crusadias an extra 500 boost, and then you get to attack every monster, which is pretty cool. Crusadia Revival is in here, or Crusadia Power is in here, because now that we're going more of an OTK going second, our Crusadia monsters are more important, so we need to be able to have them stick on the field or have those effects resolved. So that's what Crusadia Power allows us to do. Now, if you're on a budget, I highly recommend getting these cards right here. 3 Hatronade. You're going to be like, wait a minute, what? Why Hatronade over Lightning Storm? Price tag. Lightning Storm is, I think, $100, where this right here is dirt cheap. What this does is this says return all set spell and traps on the field to the hand. So it allows you to practically fire off and force everything. So yes, in theory. So yes, if they plenty, it's Gluru and Dragoon, Monkey Flip. If they have Floodgates, depending on the Floodgates, the most popular Floodgate right now currently is there can be only 1, and this deck just eats through there can be only 1 like no tomorrow. So all you're doing is bouncing back Strikes, Imperms, Ice Dragon Prisons, Dynamiscus. You're bouncing all those back, and then you get free play. Now, against Eldritch, they're forced to fire off all their stuff, and if they do, they have to fire off the Golden Lord, and then all their stuff comes out, and then there's no effects. Like, they don't have anything to pop, banish, or anything. So then there's all these monsters in defense, and Leonis is just over there licking his lips, getting ready to whack into him for double battle damage with Maximus. So that's why this is definitely an affordable card. And to me, guys, I was like, Cosmic Cyclone does not do enough. Twin Twisters, the old Teddy Twisters, you need hand advantage. It does kind of enough, but not enough. And I was like, the next best card that would do enough would be, in fact, the Lightning Storms. But Lightning Storm is, like I said, $100. So I was like, what can I get that'll keep it kind of budget for all the budget people? And hey, Trinade. I fired this thing off and secured me a bunch of wins while testing, so I really cannot talk bad about it. 2, Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. So, Interrupted Kaiju Slumber is just, again, another way to clear the board so you can one-punch, and it's a very good, it, like, forces a negate to say, you know. And my best thing ever is, like, people will summon Dragoons, and you do this, and you get rid of, like, Guru, or you get rid of, like, the other monster they have with Dragoons, and Dragoons is still there, and they're like, oh, well, that's okay. Well, you put that other Kaiju in the extra monster zone, and then you just whack into it. You don't even have to worry about Dragoon. You have to bait the Dragoon negate, but other than that, you just whack over the Kaiju, which is pretty cool. And it's a follow-up the following turn to banish and add a Kaiju, so Dragoon will not be sticking around forever anyway. Double Pot of Desires. So the reason we're playing 2 Pot of Desires is because we need everything in our extra deck, so we're not going to play Extrav. We're not going to play Pot of Generosity. I can't remember. The new pot. Because that's just an excavation. We need raw hand advantage, and that's what Pot of Desires allows us to do. You don't really care. You place 3 of every name. The only card you're really worried about banishing is the Codebreaker 0 Day, and you only are worried about the Codebreaker 0 Day if you have to go the Codebreaker route. But for the most part, like, by the time you can go up to that combo, get him out of the deck, and then Pot of Desires. It's just, it's remarkable. It allows you to draw into powerful blowout cards. Your side deck, it allows you to draw into, like, more Kaijus that you can, you know, Kaiju your opponent if you didn't see it. It's just really good. At most case scenario, if your hand is busted and you have, like, 1 interruption, you just fire off Desires and they're practically forced to negate it. Otherwise, you're just going to kill them. So, 2 Desires for sure. Double Succession and 1 Monster Reborn. So this right here was normally World Legacy Guard Dragon, but we're not playing Guard Dragon, the Guard Dragon variant. And I wanted to keep Guard Dragon in because it did add a little bit more diversity. And it wasn't a, if you open, like, 2 Successions, one's dead, where if you open, like, a Succession and Guard Dragon, it's not. But we just don't play enough dragons. That's kind of why I think Ranru's kind of hanging out here, just because I was still tinkering with that idea of playing it. But 2 Successions, because Crawler searches out any World Legacy, and you need to have more than 2 targets, so it gives you that nice 3 number to search out with Crawler. But that is it for the Reborn spells. 1 Call by the Grave. I mean, why not? Got a combo, you know what I mean? Then for the traps, which you're going to be like, wait a minute, this is a going second deck. Why are you playing traps? Because you're not always going to win the dice roll, and you're not always going to be told to go second. And sometimes you're going to be told to go first, especially in those cheeky situations where people know what you're playing, or, you know, you just are forced to go first because the opponent is playing the going second deck too. So you need to have these 2 cards in here to allow you to play. Crawler is just, again, you're not always going to be able to OTK. I know it kind of sounds crazy, but if your opponent negates your entire blowout cards, you're going to be poking for like 78, 76 damage, and that gives them just enough life to turn around and come back and win. So if you're able to end on a Rafflesia on that board, and they have 600 life points left, you can burn them and win. Searching Crawler just allows you to have that set up. Again, we're playing on the same strategy as if we cannot one punch, we bail, we break their board and build our board. And these 2 parts, this card is, Crawler is definitely part of that finishing board that we're trying to get to. And Trap Hole is there just to fuel the Rafflesia. This is also where you kind of got to look at the board and be like, am I going to be able to break this board? Can I punch over everything, or can I one punch over one thing and win? If you cannot do that, there is no need to search out Revival. Because even you got to calculate, of course, Revival's 500 attack. But if you cannot do that, there's no point in searching it out. And you just need to add Crawler so you have that set for the following turn. So when they try to do something, you are able to search Recursion. And Equimax's Negate is live to be able to try and stop them from proceeding to reestablish another board. That's practically it. That's practically all it is. If you see them in your hand, it sucks. But, I mean, so technically we've dropped from playing like 5+ bricks from a combo from the Guard Dragon to playing just essentially 3. Which is not too bad in my opinion. Now moving on to the extra deck, the long-awaited Triple Magius. Oh my goodness, we have not played Triple Magius in forever, but when you get stuck in a grind game and you're like running out of fuel, like you need to have the 3 Magius to be able to continually link climb into it. This deck can have a kind of a grind game, not a lot, just simply because just the way the deck is built. Even in the combo variant, like Crusadia Guard Dragon, like we didn't have a huge grind game. We had like a turn 2 because Crawler would get us like some sort of recursion, but other than that, our grind game kind of runs out on like turn 5 and turn 6. So Triple Magius, 1 Spatha, the Queen, and then 1 Regulex. You still play the Spatha just simply because sometimes in some scenarios you're just going to need to take their monster and just go boop and move it over. And that will come up, and then Regulex is here just to be able to OTK on itself and get you your search for your viable Crusadia spell and traps. Rounding off here, we are rocking double Equimex. Now, we are not playing Avermex because I don't think Avermex is needed. I think that the old, like, everyone would always be like, going first with the going second strategy is not bad. We always end on Avermax pass. And Avermax back then was good and strong. Avermax now, still good, still strong. More cards can out him. So now we're trying to put up Equimex with a huge attack and a negate as well. So that's one thing about Equimex that I value over Avermex is that he negates, he is reactive and proactive, whereas Avermex is more defensive. Now, there are some chinky combos you can do if you happen to play like the Rock and Crusadia Power. You can like power your Avermex, then rock the entire bit for it, the entire field, and do something. But that is it for the Crusadia package. I really can't complain. You definitely need to Equimex because, again, in the grind game, if you don't OTK him, you got to have another one to kind of come back. Excuse me, hit my mic here. Come back and then punch again. So if the one punch don't knock him out, hit him with another one. If the old righty doesn't do it, hit him with the lefty. But this right here is the Codebreaker package. These 4 cards. So these guys right here allow you to make this. This right here is what we're playing instead of Skull Dread. It allows us to make the Codebreakers live. And in some weird scenarios, this card is actually pretty good. It cannot be destroyed by battle by effect monsters, so if they have no way to remove this while it's up here and they can't destroy it by a non-effect monster, it's just sitting there. But Goddess is in here just simply because with the Codebreaker package, we can put up a Goddess for 2 and an Equimex for a negate, so it's 3 interruptions. That is not a lot, but that is better than your opponent having the free range to rebuild their board. So most of the cases, if you break their board and you have 3 interruptions to stop them from comboing off again, that is kind of what you need. And if you're forced to go first, instead of making Avermax pass, you can make you can make Equimex, Goddess Bow, and maybe a rank 4 if you open Paralytic Seed pass. So you're kind of expanding on this deck's versatility on going first and going second, but still primarily focusing on the one punch going second aspect of it. But this is the Codebreaker package. For those, I will showcase you guys the combo in the next video, probably Wednesday. Should be coming up Wednesday. What this combo line is here. So moving on. 1 Ling and 1 Link. Since we are playing going second, Paralytic Seed sometimes does not need to be made to make Rafflesia. Sometimes it doesn't need to be made to make Dweller. Sometimes you can just, especially going second into a board of 5 set back row, you can make Link Rebo, and you at least know that will hopefully stop one of those. And that's practically it. Link Spiders here is because if we are going second and they rock us, we turn Link Spider, they turn the token into Link Spider, and then we just combo back up to Equimex and punch over the rock and win. It's pretty simple, I think. Link Spider, I believe, has to be played in this, because if you do get rocked, you have no way to play through it, but if you have Link Spider, you just link the token, and then you just combo off that way. Make Regulex, make Spatha move over the token to where it needs to be, and just kind of go that route. For the final 2 XCs, 1 Dweller and 1 Rafflesia. Sometimes, now this is going to be like sometimes, it really depends. If you want to, you can establish a Rafflesia, and then combo off, and then 1 punch, but Rafflesia just provides security from, like, hand traps. And that is also a good, like, if you are forced to go first, again, the same combo still sticks, that you establish a Rafflesia and then do your Codebreaker combo, which is, like, turns into 4 interruptions, which is pretty cool. But Dweller is also here, because if you happen to get as far all the way up to Equimex and Apollosa, you just use Paralytic Seed to make a Dweller, and there you go. So that is it for the profile, guys. Please comment down below what you guys think. Let me know what you guys would do different. I know it's still, maybe it's part of me still holding on to the going first side of things, but I remember always being forced to go first with this deck and always losing that game, and I would always be like, man, if I could just have a decent going first, I'd be able to lock it out, especially since I one-punched him going game 1. So that's kind of why this list is built this way, is so that I have a decent going first and a better going second, especially now that the going first can just get blown out or is so fragile to hand traps. But anyway, guys, this has been Charles from Team COGs. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Please remember, stay safe. Be happy. Happy crusading. Charles signing out.